Really?
And then you get then we get on the trains, the metros. And nobody says a word. They don't acknowledge it. They don't look at it.
Really? That's strange. That's strange.
Hey, good evening and welcome to the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It's July 20th, 2022, 7:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Joe St. John.
Here.
Damon Capel.
Here.
Jim Joes.
Here.
Marie Neff.
Here.
John Grumney.
Here.
David Martin's absent. Cindy Cooper. Here. 6 present.
I believe we had a meeting on July 6th, and we're looking for an approval of the minutes. Motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Capel. Second by Murray Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
Marie Neff.
Yes.
Jim Goes.
Yes.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
John Grumney.
Abstain.
Cindy Cooper. Yes. 5 yeas, 1 abstention.
All right, we're on to the visitors section. I know we have one visitor. I believe it's Mr. Bill McCarthy. Is that correct? Like to talk about a development on 3 Bs and a K road. If you could say your name and your address and try to keep it to 3 minutes.
William McCarthy, 1370 South 3Bs and K Road.
Thank you.
I'm here to promote the idea of building a roundabout instead of turn lanes. When I understood this subdivision was going to be in, I did go to the county engineer, and I found out we have to get a permit for the subdivision, and either they can build turn lanes or they can build a roundabout. When I was here before, my concern was just moving this whole entrance down to the middle of the subdivision, but you voted to allow it where it is. So I didn't promote the idea of a roundabout. Now, when I did talk to the county engineer, I asked why they had built a roundabout at next intersection south, which is Cheshire Road and 3Bs. And he said there were a lot of accidents there. So, so with that in mind, the turn lanes will help some, but not as much as a roundabout will. So you're going to have 232 homes times 2 cars per home, plus all the other traffic in and out of there. So now a roundabout will be a lot safer. Because you're gonna have to slow down to make the turns, and then there'll be a yield. People leaving there, and then the people coming won't need to stay. They'll have free access to that entrance. So for the residents concerned, it is going to be safer. And this is the time to do it with this new development. Don't wait until, a bunch of homes are built and you spent money on this. So I'm promoting that idea. I understand you're going to be able to review the detailed plans. I did try and get a hold of the developer. Left message a couple of times. And even though they were assured you that they would work with us, I haven't heard back from them yet. So I was thinking about writing a letter, but who to write it to. And in this case, since council is going to vote on the final plans, you're going to have an opportunity at least to review it at that point, if not sooner. So my concern for residents is it's going to be safer if they have a roundabout, and any other people that are driving that road, they're going to slow down. But especially with the new interchange coming, you know how it is when you get off an interchange. It's hard for you to slow down anyhow. So it's going to be a benefit for everybody. Not to mention myself and my neighbor, because over half that traffic coming out of there is going to be turning north, which means that all those traffic lights, all those automobile lights will be shining away from us. And we'll still get the ones that are turning south. But you can build a mound in the middle of those things that will allow any of the backed up traffic, all the lights from that and everything to be protection for that. So I'm encouraging you to contact that developer and the engineer. And I know that they'll say it's more expensive and all that stuff, but for 232 future citizens of your village and for the neighbors, I'm promoting the idea of the roundabout there.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. I appreciate it.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Mr. McCarthy, if I could ask real quick, did I hear you correctly say that the developer has not reached out to you as of yet about your concern that you had a few weeks back?
He gave me my business card. I passed it to my neighbor and then to the guy down the road there, back in the back there, that's going to be impacted. So I encouraged them to contact the developer too.
Okay.
And I did, initially I did get a call back from him once, and he said, well, just email me when you can, but rather than be able to explain this in an email, and he's not even returning my calls. I thought, well, maybe more effective to go to the council and the president to make sure that they consider this as the safety of your residents. And I know that Councilman Brumley had asked him whether there was any way you can build a mountain on your side of the road to protect us. At the time, I didn't think to mention, a mountain will do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, they did not answer anything. And I'm sure there are other roundabouts and you can build some mounting. So anyhow, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, are there any other visitors? All right, good deal. On the committee reports, Mr. Gross?
Yes, earlier this evening, we did have our monthly finance committee meeting. We had primarily two main items of discussion. One was ordinance number 202201 that we have a third reading on later on here in a few minutes regarding the appropriations and then encumbering $500,000 in the general fund. I think you all attended the meeting. and are aware of those details. And then the second item was, we had the Baker Tilly engagement letter and mastery advisory agreement. That's regarding the funding for our future, facility improvements. And Mr. Hennessy was here to detail us on that. I think that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Groves.
Mhm.
Mr. Grumney.
No, you did an excellent job.
All right, excellent. Mr. Capel.
Nothing here.
We'll go to Murray first. Do you have anything, Murray?
Nothing to report.
All right, Mrs. Cooper. How many committees are you on, Mrs. Cooper?
I'm on a few. So we had an events meeting on July 13th. We invited a rep from the chamber, the civic, and the police department to come and discuss the 4th of July and how everything went. Both the chamber and civic had similar concerns. They discussed parking, communication. They both would like to see Sunbury purchase some sort of like sound system so that the whole square can hear what's going on. And so it was good feedback from what they said. DC Wade came and he spoke about state communication with shutting down Route 37. They want to discuss that with the state, and he would also like to see us get digital signs ahead of time telling traffic goers this street will be closed down. So that was good feedback as well. Then Mr. Bennett was also at our meeting. He discussed beginning discussions of electricity on our square. Currently, what we have events, our food trucks bring their own generators. And he's going to be meeting with Mr. Hennessy to discuss different electric options for the square. And then we also had a representative from the Sunbury Assembly of God. They're going to be having an event for kids on August 13th. They're going to be giving away free school supplies, and they're also going to have games, cotton candy, just a good fun time for kids. And then lastly, we are just continuing to work with Mr. Hennessy on our special event permit policy and application.
Great update. Any other committee reports?
Not this time.
All right, good deal.
I have one more to add,
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor. I
please.
just remembered I had last Thursday the fire board meeting, and the main item of discussion was the needs assessment report that finally came in. It was about 6 or 8 months late. 2 of the authors were there to present it, and basically the conclusion, in short, was 2 new stations are recommended. One over Berkshire Township behind Pilot J in that area, and the other one near Lake Shore Road, 605, this side of 605, off Lake Shore and 37, that quadrant. That's just a guide. I think I have the report that I provided a couple weeks ago to the city administrators. But anyway, I invited the chief to our next services meeting to provide a more detailed summary and report and future plans in terms of how they're going to pursue the construction of the next fire stations.
Thank you. Right. Police report. Chief Howard.
I submitted a report to you. I don't really want to bore you with reading over if you've already read it.
Do we have a police report in here?
That's it.
We do. I don't believe it's in here. Well, I didn't see it. Did anybody else see it?
Did you see a police report?
Page 19.
19. Thank you.
That's the 20th.
Let's see why I missed it. Thank you. Good to go.
Can you go over it or just want to read over it? Or?
Why don't you go over it?
Sure. First off, the parade fireworks report went well. We had no incidents either event. That's a plus. We started our negotiations with the FOP this week.
Dave's not here.
Got another meeting scheduled for that second week in August. Our in-car camera systems, we were expecting any day. I talked to the part rep today, And we're looking for them August 2nd. And they said they can probably have us up and running by mid-August. When they come and take care of the in-car cameras, do that install, they're gonna finish up the UTV. It's, we're waiting on the sign box and speaker. It's all pre-wired, they just gotta come out and plug it in. The calls for service there, those.
Question there, chief. Suspicious vehicle person 35. That seems a little high. Is that right?
That's about average for us.
Is it? Okay, that's on a
We
month.
put out I'll tell you what it's coming from is, there's been so many people that got in the morning, the car's been going through and things like that in the neighborhood. So, and we just told people, listen, if you see something funny, doesn't look right, call, and they are. We appreciate that.
That's about one a day, a call a day.
Yeah, I mean, we may get 4 or 5 in an evening, and then we'll go a week of nothing, and then we may get 10. I mean, it just depends.
I think there was a question in finance earlier about the cruiser and availability. Have you heard anything?
I talked to them probably 3 weeks ago. They released 250 cars to be ordered. We were on that list, and our sales rep told us that we could see that car in November, maybe December. But he couldn't guarantee that then, but that's when they're looking. I'm not holding my breath that we'll see one this year, to be honest with you.
Anything else going on in the police department?
No, just waiting on the MS consultants to get us out of one we're heading into the bill. And I will say, Murray Neff was our first low speed vehicle that we got inspected and
Good job.
and
Officially registered.
he was our guinea pig.
So does that mean every other one we see on the road is not registered?
Well, they're not registered with us. Murray was the first one with us. I think that the county may do some. I don't know about Genoa, but Murray was our first.
Good job, Murray.
I called him. I said,
Thank you.
Yeah, for me.
She got a picture.
It's not too late. Maybe we get ours done. We'll just put it side by side.
Let's do it.
I've offered high-speed chase training, but it didn't go over well.
I figured that probably was a good idea.
Stolen vehicles. I've seen Genoa has had quite a few hit. I also saw that there were what's the 2 brands? Kias and
Hyundai.
Are like there's something going on. Those are disproportionately being stolen more than others. I also heard that a bunch of teenagers stole them and rode them through Vance's doors and stole a bunch of guns with stolen vehicles. So this is like a compounding thing. Are we still seeing car break-ins locally?
Not like we were. They kind of went out around. Yesterday morning, we had got a call. As soon as I got here, I had a call that OSP was in pursuit with a couple people, give out some descriptions. Officer Alexander actually seen them when he came in. They were walking on 61 towards Sunbury. He hadn't got the description yet. So when he gets here and gets it, he's like, look, I'm just passing. So we were able to look around, found them actually down past the old high school. They were still walking together. Got them picked up, which led to, they got charged with stolen vehicle. And then Brad, he had a 4-wheeler taken. They took it from his house, and he informed me today that they rode it all the way to Mount Vernon. And it was in the impound lot over there. So,
Okay.
so Brad's hit an unlucky streak with stolen stuff. And
All right.
Are we still at 75% roughly ratio stop warnings versus
Maybe a
citations?
little, maybe not quite as much because we're not stopping 200 cars now. I mean, the guys are focusing, I should say guys and gals, are focusing on being in the neighborhoods and deterring the crime. And we're not stopping 200 cars like we usually are. I think we're down to probably, it's on here 70 or something like that.
63 traffic stops.
Yeah.
Of that number though, roughly 3 out of 4 warnings.
Yeah,
Still.
I'll say 65 to 7% of what we're stopping is probably getting warrants. I'll do that up for you in the next one. Submit that so we see where it's still at.
We're within 30 days of the school year starting, so that really dramatically changes the traffic patterns in the city. I've been seeing the speed signs bouncing around town, different
Yeah,
areas.
We left it up down there on Plymouth Street again, and Officer Whiteside told Matt Dad actually tonight. That's, we're getting some pretty high numbers down there. I went and sat at the new building today and just watched traffic, and I mean, it's, when you first park, you'll see a couple cars that step through there, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're flashing lights and everything else, and hey, the police are ahead of you, and it's slow down, they behave themselves. So it's hit or miss, but there are some high numbers. So.
Okay. Any other comments, questions for Chief? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
We're on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I provided my report earlier in the week. I'm just going to hit 2 highlights. One is the Trail Town is coming to conclusion, and they've asked us to kind of be the site for the final wrap up and celebration in early August. The other thing I wanted to mention is paving is underway. They're working on Kintner right now, milling it. Then they'll move to South Columbus. Next week, the brickwork will start, and that will entail, because we've got an entire width of Granville Street getting repaired. We'll have to shut that for a day or two to get that repair done, but it's a needed repair. If you've gotten that surprise as you drive down there with the reverse speed hump. And I'll take any question. My home occupancy permits went up 7 just between yesterday and today. So they kind of come in a glop, and then I issue certificates of occupancy. So things are busy, and I'll answer any questions that you might have either on the report or in general.
Any questions, comments for Mr. Piles? All right, thank you very much. Engineers report is in our packet. I assume nobody wants to cover this. We knew West Hall was not going to be here to cover it with us this evening. All right, on to the next one. We have 0 resolutions. We're on the ordinances. 3rd reading ordinance number 2021.49 will remain tabled. We're on to ordinance number 2022.01, first amended. This is a 3rd reading, an ordinance amending the 2022 annual appropriations. I believe we're looking for action. And we don't need emergency language. Okay.
This is what we discussed in finance meeting earlier.
Correct. I'd like to make a motion on 2022.01.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gose. Discussion? Roll call.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Tim Gose,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
John Grumney,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
6 yeas.
We're on to new and unfinished business, the Baker Tilly engagement agreement. We also discussed this in finance. Is there any further discussion or comment from staff? Mr. Bream, I assume you've looked this over. We're good to go?
Good to go.
Great.
Yeah, it's our master agreement. It's 3 years, has 60-day termination clause in it.
Great.
A lot of, I think, FCC compliance stuff in there. They really have to get in front of us and get our signature on and move forward. So it's for your approval tonight. We'd like to get started with that.
Great. Any questions? Anybody support it so much as to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, we got a motion by Damon Capel. Discussion after the second that's coming.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
John Grumney,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Tim Gose.
Yes.
6 yeas.
We are on to new and unfinished business. We're on record pace. Mr. Neff.
Yes, we are.
New or unfinished business.
I'm not there.
You have anything you want to talk about?
No.
Okay,
Mom,
Mrs.
no.
Cooper.
Yes, On Saturday, July 23rd at the reservoir is going to be the Terry Hummel Memorial Youth Fishing Derby from 8 to noon. And also July 26th here on the first floor at 10 a.m. is going to be a community enrichment meeting with Source Point to discuss what new things Source Point can bring to Sunbury for our 55 plus residents.
Awesome.
That's it.
26, that is,
I think it's a Wednesday.
Tuesday, okay. Yes, we talked about that in our last Parks meeting. Mhm. Okay. Mr. Hennessy's all over that one, I believe.
All right, Mr. Capel?
I don't have anything tonight.
All right, Mr. Grumney.
I'd just like to thank Mr. McCarthy for coming in today and expressing and sharing his thoughts and ideas for yourself and representing your neighbors. And I just ask the council that we consider those as we move forward with the developer and see what we can do to help resolve those issues. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ghost?
Nothing further.
Is it really up to me? Okay, I just want to say one thing. I had the opportunity to participate in a pretty intense scenario today with the Columbus Police Department, fire, SWAT. It was what do they call it? Active shooter situation. And I just want to say how much I appreciate knowing that that level of planning goes on. And there's hundreds of people, they're role playing and simulating for the worst case scenario, and the level of planning and coordination that goes in. God forbid we ever have a situation like that, but I just encourage everybody to just always be aware. There's a fine line between paranoia and preparedness. You don't want to think about it all the time, but it's a great idea to always know where exits are and things like that. So something we don't like to talk about, but I think we need to do more of. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion? Roll call.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
John Grumney.
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
Murray Neff.
Yes.
Tim Ghost.
Yes.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
6 yeas.
We're adjourned. Thank you.